All right, let's get it. Today I want to talk about classism or racism. Most of us know, and many of us have experienced racism, but not many of us are familiar with classism. So what is classism? Well, let's take a look at the definition. As it reads, classism, a belief that a person's social or economic station in society determines their value in that society. And it gives a few examples below that. So some years ago, my buddy Big Pete and I were having a discussion about this very topic. Since 45 became president, it seems that this is more relevant now more than ever. See, contrary to popular belief, this will be the wedge issue that divides us in the near future, and not racism. You know, the right always discusses, or I should say accuses everyone of race baiting and playing the race card and calling all Democrats elitists. Well, the truth is, it's all projection. It's all a major distraction. These clowns over on Fox like Hannity and Carlson and Ingram and all the like make everything about race. Everything. Everything is a threat or a swipe at white people. Pay attention to the GOP talking points. They're more subtle than Fox, but it's basically the same game plan. Appeal to the base through emotion rather than policy, and that emotion, in most times, is racial. So what's the distraction? What are they hiding? And what are they trying to conceal? Well, the answer is simple. Money. I've said it on previous videos, and I'm going to continue to say it. It's all about the money. The GOP, they are the real elitists. Most of these guys are trust fund kids. Most of them grew up rich or wealthy. They don't have any shared experiences with America's working class. They can't relate to the working class issues that many families deal with on a daily basis. And that's why they make everything a race issue. Voting, a racial issue. Universal health care, a racial issue. Police reform, a racial issue. Economy, which correlates with immigration, a racial issue. And in fact, all of these issues will affect most people the same way, regardless of their race or ethnicity. So can I make it plain? I'm going to make it plain. If they keep the working class fighting amongst each other over race, then we won't focus our anger on the true enemy of the working class, the elites. And before someone says this guy hates all rich people, that's not true. That's not true at all. I hate the people that dangle that carrot with all of that pull yourself up from the bootstraps BS. It's simply not true, at least not anymore. And I don't know if it ever truly was. My father worked for over 30 years in the steel mill. He didn't die a rich man. He didn't die a wealthy man. We weren't poor, but we were closer to being poor than we were to being rich or wealthy. I'm sure more of us have that in common than the other. I've been working since I was 15. That means I've been in the workforce for over 3 decades. Am I rich? No. In fact, far from it. So what am I saying? Trump and the GOP don't give a damn about working class Americans once they get your vote. None of their policies are about closing the wealth gap or increasing wages. All of their policies are geared towards making the wealthy more wealthy. Once people wake up and realize that we have more in common, despite our differences in skin pigment, then we can unite and start to demand better wages, better working conditions, which will in turn lead to a better quality of life. Think about this. If you get a quarterly bonus, or a Christmas bonus, or something of the sort, I'm willing to bet that it's a mere fraction of your manager's bonus, and an even smaller fraction compared to the execs in your company. Do they work any harder than you? Maybe, but probably not. You see the quote unquote old door greeters and cashiers at places like Walmart and Meijer. Chances are they're working because they still have to. They're working because their retirement benefits can't support or sustain their lifestyle. Why? You spend the majority of your life working for retirement only to realize that you can't afford to retire. Some would try to convince you that it's your fault, the elite class, by saying things like, oh, you didn't manage your money correctly, etc., etc. When in reality, it's because you never had the money to begin with. The largest portion of the fruits of your labor went to someone else. No, not immigrants. No, not welfare recipients, but to the execs and the shareholders in your company, in the form of bigger bonuses, payouts for shares. They get the big raises at the end of the year. Things like that. Instead of distributing the money evenly amongst the workers, they take the lion's share for themselves. So, if you're paying attention to the current jobs report and all of that jazz, then you know the biggest concern is the large number of job vacancies. People are choosing not to return to the crappy job that they lost during the pandemic. And I say, bravo. Good for them. See, you got to give people incentive to return to work. Offer a livable wage with benefits, or simply go out of business. Those are the two options. America has two true demographics: the haves and the have-nots. There is no in between. The problem is, some of us don't recognize or want to accept that they are part of the have-nots. This is why so many vote against their own interests. This is why some vote for politicians that wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. They convince you that your coworker of a different race is your enemy, or your neighbor of a different race is somehow your adversary, when you're in the same boat. And I mean literally. I'm sure most of us have seen the movie Titanic. Remember that scene when the boat started to sink and they locked people in the basement so the elite class can make it to the safety boats? Guess what? We would be sacrificed so the elite class can survive. So I'll leave it there for now. That's all I have for this one. If you like the way I think, slide over to Patreon. Check out some of my original short stories. I'm sorry. It's only $1.50 per download. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss out on our future videos. Oh, and last year around this time, I posted a video called Patriotism versus Racism. Basically in commemoration of Independence Day. I'm going to post a card at the end of the video, but you guys should go back and check that one out. I think it's pretty good. And it's apropos. All right. So I'm out. Thanks for listening. Peace.